again. It's the beginning of the league races, and with the rotating schedule, some teams have already dug themselves a hole. We'll check in with tape from 7 of those big games from across Orange County, including our game of the week between Rancho Alamitos and Pacifica. Perhaps you viewed it right here on your Channel of Champions. Also on the big show tonight, Laguna Hills and Estancia hang their bagels on the board at OCC. That's clever writing, meaning both teams were undefeated coming in. And later in the show, we'll have a report on the CV League showdown between Newport Harbor and Santa Margarita. That was the game I would have gone to, but I have to stay here. I never get to go anywhere. It's the high school football report. Welcome home. Starting things out, it takes just one look at Century's last 3 games to figure out there's a problem. The Centurions just 1-4 on the year, had allowed 144 points in losses to Mission Viejo, Arroyo, and Ocean View. Friday's start of league play offered little chance of a pardon, though, as Kennedy came calling. The Irish 4-1 and entering the top 10 for the first time this year, looking for a little more respect and taking it from everybody. Kennedy won this game last year 25-0. Would it be any better this time around? At the Bowl, it's homecoming, and I guess you can guess the theme. Alice in Wonderland. First quarter, no score, and Tommy Haas hooks up with Garrett Sable. I would, too. He's one of the best in the county. Nice move on Cesar Perez. See ya. Fighting Irish up 6-0. Kennedy defense also getting it done. This is what you would call a gang tackle. Kennedy coach Mitch Mad Dog Olson liking what he sees early on. Second quarter, same score. It's Haas hooking up with Sable again. Go get it, Garrett. Pretty catch in the court of the end zone. It's 13-0. Kennedy's Aces on a roll, cruising 13-0 at the break. Haas looking to add on to the lead, but he's blocked by Manuel Avendano. And Hector Moreno runs it back all the way to make it 13-6. Maybe Kennedy's in for a game. Haas looking to widen the gap. And guess who he's gunning for? That's right, Sable. Oh, how good is he? Reno says not as he strips the ball. Second big defensive play of the night at that point. Still a small Kennedy lead. We don't have a final, but as is our promise each week, and we like to live up to it, we'll try and have a final for you in the next 28 minutes. Stop laughing at me, Geller. Century will try again next week against Lowero, while Kennedy heads home to meet the Catella Knights. Thursday's action was a story of the haves and the have-nots in Orange County High School football, as 5 teams registered shutouts. In Anaheim, the Tigers mauled the Pioneers. The Sentinels were bitten by the Cats. And in Orange, the canyon was just much too wide for the Quack attack. OCN's Jeff Fischel cues the band for the Thursday wrap.
Bring it on! Catlin may be gone, but under his expert tutelage, the recap will continue to grow. Los Al and Esperanza, the big one. Roy Roberts, to every Aztec, turn. Grips were up 13-0. But David Parrish can be a pain in the Aztec to opposing defenses. Left-handed, we can rebuild him. 14-13 Esperanza at the half. The second half belongs to Jamal Footman. Number 3 beats number 2, 24-20. Besides that, a lot of teams got kicked around last night. Valencia and Western were scoreless in the first half thanks to good D, until the Tigers got it going in the third quarter. Eric Young hits Curl Lang over the middle. 2 plays later, fullback Julian Gomez doesn't so much as dive as cannonball, 15 yards. Valencia wins 14-0. La Quinta hoped to burst Los Amigos' bubble, but the Aztecs had problems getting out of their own backfield. Sean Tagatui recovers the stone for 6. La Quinta coach Jeff Veter, the force was not with him. Los Lobos drops La Bamba on the Aztecs. Javier Aceves to Thong win. Los Amigos move to 3-0 in league. They win 39-0. We go to Shea Calais. No burgers serving Polynesians. Carmen Tarkisian ran for 167 yards. Sets up a first half touchdown. And Elmo didn't help themselves. Point. Right off the melon, Andy Colonis and the Comanches chop the Vanguards 23-0. Brea and Magnolia, the Sentinels want to sound off against their Orange League rival, but turnovers cost them. Driving in the first, they cup up the bill. Then in the fourth, the Sentinels' last chance, but Anthony Zaragoza is picked off. Magnolia goes nowhere. Wildcats win 10-0. I'm not crazy, institutionalized. Vaqueros not feeling any suicidal tendencies early. Jared Flint launches to Ryan Brucker. And considering the candidates, that'll have to be Fisher's catch of the day. Jake Savona had 2 scores. Irvine wins 21-0, and the Piqueros feel good, and so should you after watching the recap. Jeff Fischel, OCN Sports.
You know, I used to think it was just Catlin, but maybe it's because these guys have to spend like 4 hours alone in an edit bay putting these things together. They're just weird. We're just getting started on the big show. Coming up, we'll bring you a potpourri of high school skins, including our game of the week between Rancho and Pacifica. We'll also talk with some of the heroes. And our athlete of the week not only comes from a good stable, but from good stock as well. Hey, we're coming back.
Tustin Lexus is #1 in pre-owned Lexus sales.
Great deals on all pre-owned cars.
We feature
Great financing plans with low monthly payments.
For your next pre-owned car, visit Tustin Lexus, Orange County's #1 Lexus dealer, 7 straight years.
Tustin Lexus in the Tustin Auto Center.
Tie-dye speed skater.
Dad used to call me his little deficit spending daughter, till I took him to Lou Webb's all-new Toyota Buena Park. Lou Webb's Toyota Buena Park really isn't a class by itself. More cars, incredible savings, and really polite people. I got a new Camry for a lot less than I budgeted. Dad was proud. Yeah, Dad bought a new Supra, but he and Mom needed something to tow behind the motorhome.
Old-fashioned value for a new generation.
Saving is a walk in the park.
Lou Webb's all-new
Toyota Buena Park.
Back on the ranch, it's the OCN game of the week. Rancho Alamitos has traditionally been a bunch of dog-faced foot soldiers, and this year is no exception. The undefeated Vaqueros were averaging 333 yards rushing per game coming into their big Garden Grove League showdown against Pacifica. Mariners still stinging after last week's upset at the hands of Roger Takahashi and Los Amigos. In that game, Pacifica gave up 300 yards to the Lobos, and that is why they lost. The OCN game of the week, and when you have the county's #5 rusher, you give him the stone. Rancho's Leo Cosi on the game's first play. Ducks in, then out. It's a foot race, 50 yards before Leo is knocked over the chalk at the 12-yard line. But on the next play, Rancho gets its signals crossed, and nobody's home. Taylor Yandel has to retrieve his own pitch. Big loss kills the drive, so the Vacs settle for a field goal. And one Funky Cold Medina with the Bigfoot, a school record 43-yard FG, 3-0 Rancho after one. Second quarter, Pacific on a 3rd and 16. J.D. Stern rolls and finds Casey Huppmeyer for a pickup of 30 yards. That down to the Rancho 12. 3 plays later, on the OCN slow-mo cam, Verdell Laveau follows the Hogs over the right side. Nice surge. He's in. Mariners move in front at 7-3. Stayed that way until late in the half. Yandel continues Rancho's tradition of big-time runners, but he's the quarterback. Give it to somebody else. All the way inside the 40. Later in the drive, David Vickers goes over center and starts to pick up a few yards, but keep your eye on number 54 in white. That's Pacifica's Ramez Amiri, who reaches in and rips the rock away from Vickers. And then Amiri with the heads-up play. Doug Case explaining to Vickers that the bladder is most important. Rancho gets it back with just 24 seconds left in the half. Yandel on the short toss to Vickers, and he smells the goal line, but Rich Campos stands him up and drives him out at the half-yard line. That would turn out to be a huge play for Bill Craven, because 2 snaps later, Cosi trying to get in the zone, gets stripped instead. He had 3 fumbles on the night. Scott Yost knocks the pill loose, and Jason Simpson smothers it. Case can't believe it. 7-3 Pacifica at the half. The second half, Rancho defense again does its job. Nam Nguyen had 2 interceptions. This one, the diving pick. Took a while for the officials to make sure, but finally after they compare notes, yeah, Rancho ball, and Bill not happy. That would spark the O. Cosi on the power pitch, weaving through the Pacifica secondary and outrunning Campos to the stripe, 31 yards for the touchdown. That would be your game winner as Case and the boys are fired up. They win again. The final score 10-7, a game that perhaps we thought would offer more scoring, but a lot of turnovers. 8 somebody get a mop. It was sloppy. Rancho improves to 6-0, but 3-0 in the tough Garden Grove League. And Pacifica loses their second. They're 1-2. Afterwards, OCN's Rick Milkey talked with some of Gang Green.
Here at Garden Grove High School, a defensive battle tonight. Garden Grove League affair, and the Rancho Alamitos Vaqueros holding off the Pacifica Mariners by a score of 10-7. Want to visit with a couple members of the winning team, beginning with Rancho quarterback Taylor Yandel. Taylor, hard-fought game on both sides.
Yes, it was. It was a very defensive battle, and we just took over the line in the fourth quarter when it really mattered.
Your team has been averaging like 44 points a game, okay? You only had 10 tonight, so I guess this really says something about the Vaquero defense.
Yes, it does. It says that even though we have a potent offensive attack, that the defense can keep us in game too.
Yeah, is this a team that can win the Garden Grove League title, you think?
I think we can. I really think we can.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
All right, now let me bring in the workhorse of the team. More than 30 carries for Leo Cozy tonight. Leo, how you doing? You might be a little bit sore, huh?
I'm very sore, man. That was a very tough battle.
Was this the most physical game you guys have played this year?
Physical, yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's probably the most time I ran the ball as hard as I can, as much as I can, going 110%.
Yeah. They came in 4-1. You guys came in 5-0, so now you're still undefeated. But you have a homecoming game in 2 weeks against the Lobos of Los Amigos. They're also playing great football right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a tough battle right there, and we just got to play them harder than we did Pacifica and do what we kept doing, is just winning.
All right, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, Taylor Yandel, Leo Cozy of the victorious Rancho Alamitos Vaqueros. The final score once again from Garden Grove High School, Rancho Alamitos 10, Pacifica 7.
All right, Rick, thank you very much. Next week, Pacifica is home to face Garden Grove. Rancho will be at La Quinta. Last week, our OCN Game of the Week featured #1 Mater Dei and #2 Servite in the 32nd meeting of the parochial schools. The game should have been a classic, but the Monarchs dominated on both sides of the ball and thus beat the Friars 41-7. I just like putting "thus" in a sentence. But in case you missed it, there was a catch. Or was there? It's already become known as the catch, the biggest play in the biggest game of the year. The only question is, did Rod Perry really catch it?
Yes, sir. Touchdown, Mater Dei.
I mean, I really can't tell, but because it's Rod Perry, I really do think he caught it, just because, I mean, the guy's a great player. So I really, honestly, I think he caught it. And I think he thinks he caught it, too, so.
I thought I did. I looked at the studio. I don't know if you guys thought otherwise. I thought I did, but,
Unless you're a Servite fan, you got to believe him. He's that good an athlete, and he's that good a kid.
I mean, he's been on a football field since he was old enough to walk with his dad. And, he's played catch with the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. He's studied game tape. His knowledge is way out there.
Rod's dad, of course, is Rod Perry, who played cornerback for the Rams in the 1980 Super Bowl against the Steelers. Senior Perry is now an assistant with the Oilers in Houston, which, of course, means that to attend Mater Dei, Junior must live with friends 2,000 miles from his folks.
And what a trauma that would be. Because I don't care. They're still 16, 17-year-old young men, and there's those nights when you come home. Even as adults, we like to get patted on the back. We like to have a nice warm cooked meal. We like somebody to maybe share our pity pot with us for a few hours. But, he deals with that.
I think it's made me have to grow up a little bit quicker. I think I'm going to have an easier transition to college next year than maybe some of the other people that are just breaking away from their family right now. I've just been more independent now, and it's still great. I got a great support group, and I mean everyone's parents seem to like pitch in and be like surrogate parents for me. So it all works out.
During the year, Rod, who's 5th in the county in receiving, lives with the Monarchs' other pass catcher, David Castleton. The two have become close friends.
I've always been there for him. I mean, if he wants to talk about it, then fine, we'll talk about it. But sometimes he doesn't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'll give him his space. But he misses his family, but I think he's doing all right now.
Although his ticket to college will come via airmail, Perry has made a name for himself as a defensive player this year. With an all-pro dad who made a living running backwards, in Houston anyway, this is the real catch.
Intercepted by Perry.
Honestly, he's got to see the catch. I don't think he's seen it yet, but he loves the interception because it's his position. It's like kind of following in his footsteps. He loves to see me out there playing at corner and lock up on a good receiver, and it's almost like a challenge thing.
In Santa Ana, Jim Watson, OCN Sports.
Does he catch that football? Oh, my goodness.
You know, I've seen that now like 55 times, and I'm starting to believe he actually did catch the ball. Maybe I just want to believe it. Perry has narrowed his college choices now to SC, UCLA, Arizona State, Penn State, and Ohio State. Pretty hard to make a mistake with any of those, isn't it? Hey, I'm winded, so let's get a TO, huh, baby? Plenty more on the rundown, though. Anaheim and Savannah at the Glove, Laguna Hills and Estancia in a PCL battle of unbeatens, and Orange and Villa Park at Shea Calais, where the football may not be great, but the food is. We're cooking up the highlights after this. I get paid for the full half hour. I'm not going anywhere. 2 weeks ago, Luis Gomez was the county's leading passer. In fact, the Anaheim senior set a county passing mark with 503 yards in a single game. But the Colonists had little other successes, winning just once. Savannah opened the season a sizzling 3-0, but then fell through a trapdoor in Week 4 and haven't won since. The Orange League opener in Anaheim. They call it the Glove, Glover Stadium. Strike up the band. The Orange League opener. Second quarter, Savannah already ahead by a field goal. Luis Gomez takes control for Anaheim. He finds Larry Clausen up the middle, 27 yards for a touchdown. Colonists on top, 7-3. Rebels strike back. Quarterback Ryan Poland takes it to East Germany. Get it? Poland, East Germany. This scramble, 26 yards, puts the Rebels in the red zone. Next play, Poland hands off to Cameron King. And we know about these bloodlines, bounding in from 11 yards and doing most of the dirty work himself. And in there somewhere is Poland on the quarterback sneak, and Savannah has the lead, 10-7 Rebels. Anaheim coach Alan Carter getting a little weary of the Rebel passing attack. 2-minute drill for the Rebels, and a controversial call. Poland to Chris Bird for a long gain, but is he in bounds? The referee says yes. That would lead to a half-ending field goal for Savannah. They led 13-7. Oh, a little talk. Oh, you give him a little. Oh, you got to like the kids getting a little rambunctious. 13-7 Savannah at the half, but if you're an Anaheim fan, you're sorry we left early because Luis goes off in the second half, throws a couple of touchdown passes, 58 yards, 72 yards, and here come the Colonists. They win it 26-16, Anaheim over Savannah, so Anaheim now just their second win of the year, but they're 1-0 now in league. Savannah's an even 3-3, but 0-1 now in the Orange League. Anaheim will travel to Handel Stadium next week to take on Western. The Rebs will also pack their bags and head off to Brea Linda. Well, perhaps the most interesting matchup of the night was down Costa Mesa at Orange Coast College. Laguna Hills, undefeated and ranked 5th in the county, taking on Estancia, unbeaten but unranked. The Hawks from the South County feature the county's rushing champion from a year ago, Mike Jones. Mr. Jones is once again a counting crow with 1,200 yards and 16 touchdowns, far more than anybody else. But the kids from Costa Mesa counter with the county's best rushing team, over 400 yards per game. Laguna Hills won this game last year on the way to the PCL title. Laguna Hills and Estancia at OCC, and best back in the county, Mr. Jones doesn't take things lying down. Opening quarter, and here he comes, bouncing off defenders and weaving through the secondary. He's big, he's fast, and he's gone. 54 yards. No! Stopped by Chris Felix, 1 yard short of pay dirt. Oh, the humanity. 2 plays later, it's Corey Pardo. He gets the 6. Laguna Hills on top after 1. Second quarter, the Hawks up 12-0, and here comes Mr. Jones again. Eagles just falling in his wake. 58 yards, and Felix ain't going to get him this time. You have another touchdown run of 61 yards before the break. He totals 261 yards on a dozen carries and 3 scores, and that's in the first half. 261 yards for Jones in the first half. 26-7, Laguna Hills at the break. Laguna Hills goes on to win 47-13. We'll have some more highlights of this one on the big 11 o'clock show. Laguna Hills now 6-0, 1-0 in league. Estancia loses their first of the year, but they're in last place in league because they're 0-1. Laguna Hills will try to remain unbeaten when they play the Uni Trojans next week. Estancia will try to rebound after its first loss. Eagles will be at Costa Mesa. Century League opener at Shea Calais between Orange and Villa Park. 2 teams with a lot in common. Besides their paltry 2-3 opening marks, both have shown some potential. The problem has been converting that potential to points. They always play it close. Last year, the Panthers won this one, 28-27. Orange and Villa Park at Fred Kelly. Oh, even Jack's fired up for this one. First quarter action, the Panthers strike first. Gerald Deason takes the handoff, nothing there, sweeps wide left, and there's something there. That's a touchdown. Orange on top, 7-0. Orange ready to punt. Spartans 32-yard line. The ball sails high. Steve Gonzalez manages to grab it, and now it's a fire drill. But watch Steve-O go. This is a broken punt. 40 yards for a touchdown. Dick Hill put that one in the book, although it's called back on a penalty. Villa Park comes back. Dashe Dameron's 3-yard touchdown. Up the middle, it's 7-6 Orange. In the third quarter, Villa Park strikes quickly. Jim Uloa takes the handoff and goes 14 yards for the touch. Villa Park then decides to add on a couple more. It's a two-pointer, and again, it's the Dashe Dash Dameron in. Villa Park leads 14-7 early in the